Shalom, brothers and sisters. Grace, mercy, and peace be unto you. From Yahuwah, He's our Father, and Yahusha, He is the Mashayah, the one that carries the burden of Yah, His voice, our High Priest, soon coming King. Hear, O Yesharo, Yahuwah, who is our Mighty One, He is one. There is no other Mighty One, brothers and sisters, than Yahuwah, and Yahusha is His voice. This is Brother Dawood coming to you again to ask another question. When is Passover 2023? The answer, the projected date is February 5th in the evening. Why is it projected, Brother Dawood? Because first, we must spot Hidash, the renewed moon. When the moon becomes visible in the western sky, that is step number 1. You will be able to see it on Sunday evening after 5 p.m. Be out there to spot it, and if you can, take a pic. Now look at the pic that I provided for you here. This is the temple in Telerad. This is Yahuwah's temple. It is desolate at this moment. It's on Mount Tishaun. We know it as Mount Zion. Look in the middle of the screen. You'll see a stone structure there. That is the altar. On Passover, the priest has to make all of the pertinent sacrifices on your behalf. Then he takes your prayers and your praise, and he walks through that little path and goes all the way in the back. And in the back there is the Holy of Holies, where Yah would be seated. This temple was made in the pattern that is in the heavens. So only the high priest can go into the Holy of Holies to take your prayers and your requests. What day is he going to do this on? The 14th day of the first month in the evening. Here's a question. What if you made an adjustment to the calendar and you find yourself in the second month? Will he be making a sacrifice for you? I want you to think about that. Will he adjust the calendar to line up according to your delusion? Will he adjust his calendar so that he can be a participant in the metonic cycle? Let's begin. Wayakara, Leviticus, chapter 23, verses 4 and 6. 4. These are the feasts of Yahuwah, not the Jews, not the church, not Moses. These are Yahuwah's feasts. Indeed, they are holy convocations, gatherings. You can't gather here at some venue. only in the promised land. What do we do here, Brother Dawood? Gather in your homes, which you shall proclaim in their seasons. The word is not seasons. It is muad yam. The yam on the end makes it plural. It means appointed times. Verse 5, in the 14th day of the first month, in the evening, is Yahuwah's Passover. Do you know how long this date has been in the text? Do you know the enemy? Satan, his name from the heaven, God, Ra'el. You think he doesn't know this? So he devised a way through his people to circumvent Yah's feast. How did he do that? It came up with a metonic cycle and the addition of months. You see, if it says in the 14th day of the first month, and you made an adjustment to the calendar, you're going to be in the second month, aren't you? Which means you violated this commandment. Verse 6, and on the 15th day of the same month is the feast of unleavened bread unto Yahuwah. 7 days you must eat unleavened bread. The 15th day and the 14th day in the evening is the same exact day. How does a day work according to the lunar event? You spot Hidash in the evening, right as the sun dips below the horizon. So the day is counted from evening to evening. So the 14th day in the evening begins the 15th day. Verse 7, in the first day, the 14th day in the evening, you shall have a holy convocation. That's a gathering. You shall do no servile work therein. Can you gather here? No. We don't have a temple here. Can you go to someone's venue? No. What are you supposed to do? Carry this out in your home, just like our brothers and sisters did in Egypt before their deliverance. Yeah. Now this is a statute. It's telling you how to carry out this commandment. Have you seen a statute yet that says you are to make an adjustment to the calendar if the barley harvest is not right? What about a statute that says that you are to make an adjustment and bring the moon back to the equinox if the moon moves away from the sun in the amount of 10 days, 20 days, 30 days, 40 days, 50 days, 100 days, 200 days? I've asked that question for 5 years. No one has answered. It does not exist. If it does not exist in Scripture, you are not to follow the thinking of the Gentiles. Now it tells you that on the first day, the 14th day in the evening, which is the 15th day, you can't work on that day. No servile work can be done. Verse 8. But you shall offer an offering made by fire unto Yahuwah for 7 days. Can you do that? No. Yahuwah knew that you would not be able to do this because he sent you into captivity because of our disobedience. But in his infinite wisdom and mercy, he provided for us a high priest who is in the heavens, Amah Shaya, the high priest of Yah. He's making continual sacrifices on your behalf on the new moons, on the Shabbats, and on the feast days. If you made an adjustment to the calendar in any way, or if you're just making suggestions that in order to find his feast, you start your count from the first new moon after the equinox, or you're starting from the equinox to find Yah's feast, you're not on time with the priestess in heaven. Guess what? He will not be making a sacrifice for you. What time is he following, Brother David? He's following the path of years. He will not adjust the calendar to the metonic cycle so that he can line up with you. Let's continue to read. In the 7th day, which is the 20th day in the evening, which begins the 21st day, is a holy convocation. So you have 2 gatherings here. You shall do no servile work therein. So the 14th day in the evening, which is the 15th day, and the 20th day in the evening, which is the 21st day, you cannot go to work 2 days. If you do, you have violated this commandment. Shamut. That's Exodus, chapter 12, verses 14 to 16. Verse 14. And this day shall be unto you a memorial. You are to memorialize this day. Let me tell you why. Because after you get through this month, you will count 11 more months, and you're going to come back to the first month. You have to keep up with it. Because there's many people making astronomical calculations and changing Yah's feast to the Gentilian feast. You have to memorialize this day. And you shall keep it a feast to Meton, to Yahuwah, to Christ, to Yahuwah, to Jesus, Jehovah, or any of these other mighty ones that they have created that have no power. You have to keep it a feast to Yahuwah throughout your generations. It is perpetual. Even though you're in the land of your captivity and you don't have a harvest, and you don't even have any land, you don't even have a government as of yet, you still have to keep this a feast because you were at Horeb. You were still in the loins of the ancients. But you were at the mountain. You took the covenant verbally You were sprinkled with blood. It sealed the deal. And this covenant will go from generation to generation. You shall keep it a feast by an ordinance forever. Does forever mean forever? Yes, it does. 15. 7 days shall you eat unleavened bread. Not 6. 7 days. Starts in the 14th day in the evening. No leaven should be found in your home, and you must eat unleavened bread. Even the first day you must put away leaven out of your houses. Yeah. The first day, that's the 14th day, before the evening comes, all of the leaven must be thrown out. Look at this. There's a penalty behind this. This is why if you have the wrong day, you are finished. For whosoever eateth leavened bread from the first day until the 7th day, that soul shall be cut off from your sorrow. Do you see how dangerous this is? If you started your month from the dark moon, you're going to be 1 day off the feast. You're going to be eating leaven on a high holy day. If you made an adjustment to a 13th month, you're going to be eating leaven on a high holy day. If you start your month from the full moon, you're going to be eating leaven on a high holy day. If you say that you start your count from the first full moon after the equinox, you're going to be eating leaven on a high holy day. How do you know that you have the right day then? I am convinced. I am sure. I am positive. Why? Because my father raised me up and taught me the path of years, the thing that we forgot. Verse 16. And in the first day, that's the 14th day in the evening, which is the 15th day, there should be a holy convocation, gathering. And in the 7th day, there shall be a holy convocation to you. That's the 20th day in the evening, which is the 21st day. Yeah. Listen, no manner of work shall be done in them. Can't go and do any of your work things, except that which every man must eat. That only may be done of you. You can bake, you can boil, you can kindle a fire. You can fire up the grill, and you can cook and roast your meats. Yes. Why? Because this is a party. It's a celebration. We are to eat, drink, and be merry. What is going to be absent in this feast? Anything that has leaven in it. Verse 17. And you shall observe the feast of unleavened bread. For in this self-same day, he's telling you why you have to observe the feast of unleavened bread. Have I brought your armies out of the land of Egypt? Therefore, shall you observe this day in your generations by an ordinance forever. Listen to me. He said, this day, this specific day, this happened thousands of years ago that he brought us out of Egypt. How do we find the exact same day in order to keep this feast. It is called the Path of Years. If you don't know it, then you have not kept a feast yet, or a Day of Atonement. These are dangerous times. If you have the wrong day, you're cut off from the congregation. That's why the numbers will be so small. Only thousands should return to Yahuwah. When you return, you will put aside all the Gentilian ways, and you will only follow him. Brother David, you said it has to be the exact day. What makes you so sure that you have the right day? I'm happy you asked that question. In 2017, Yah spoke to his servant, Brother David, Brother Daoud now, and he told me that your Shabbats and your feast days are all wrong. My sky brothers delivered the message in my dreams. I woke up out of my dreams distressed because the Day of Atonement had just passed. And if our Shabbats and our feast days are wrong, the Day of Atonement was wrong. If the Day of Atonement was wrong, that means I would be cut off from the congregation. You see, you have this time now to get your act together before he comes. Once he comes, it's too late. So you need to learn all of these things now while you still have a chance. So after the Father told me that all of these days were wrong, I set out on a mission. I pulled up every single scripture I could find that pertained to the new moons, the Shabbats, and the feast days. Yes. We found how to start our month. In the book of Enoch, he said, the new moon is a slither of light, 1/2 of a 7th part, which equals 1/14th part of light. Hidash, when the moon has become visible, not full. Hidash, a slither of light. So 2018 came around. The next year, we were ready. We spotted the renewed moon for the first time. We were so excited just to see it, to know that it was there, right where Hanuk said it would be. And we began our count to the feast days. Now let me tell you something. The Jews, they were in the same exact month with us in 2018. Yeah, they just started from the dark moon. The Israelite brothers, they were in the exact same month with us in 2018. Yeah, they started from the full moon. Then the year went around. The Jews, listen to what they said in 2019. The barley harvest is not ripe, so we have to add a 13th month. What? In 2019, there was a perfect alignment where the moon had moved away from the sun in the amount of 10 days. They saw it. They knew it. But they made this adjustment anyway. And fed this lie to you. The Israelite brothers, they stayed in the same month with us. They didn't move in 2019. They just started their days, their count, from the full moon. Little did we know at this time that 2018 was the restart year. The moon and the sun was in its restarting position. It takes 32 and a half to 33 years for the moon to traverse through all of the seasons and come back to its starting position with the sun, just like it was at creation. Do you see what Yah did? He put us on the path of years, and we stayed here. Now, when the moon and the sun is in its restarting position, the moon had 354 days. The sun had 354 days. As the year passed, the sun had an overplus of 6 days. Then 4 intercalary days are added to the calendar, which made the moon fall behind the sun in 2019 in the amount of 10 days. Just like Hanuk told us. So from there, we went to 2020. The Israelite brothers moved away from us. They made an adjustment to the calendar and added a 13th month. And we almost cried. We lost our brothers, and they wouldn't listen. But we stayed on the path of years. Proof that we stayed on the path of years? This year, we would be 40 days from the equinox. We watched how the moon moved backwards away from the sun. Yes, we did. So everyone began to say things like this. You're going to be in the winter if you keep doing this. You're going to be in the fall if you keep doing this. You're going to be celebrating Passover in the summer if you keep doing this. We're not doing anything. We're following the path of years, just like we're supposed to. And the moon will traverse through all of the seasons in 32 and a half to 33 years. So we found the alternative to the thinking of the Gentiles, meton, and that alternative to the thinking of the Gentiles was here all the time. But everyone denied him. Everyone spit in his face. Everyone tried to control time here on paper. Yahuwah is the alternative to meton. It is he who can open up the windows of heaven and give you the dew, the heat, and the rain in its appointed time. It doesn't matter that you traversed through all of the seasons of the year. We are dependent. We are not trying to follow the Gentiles in their demonic thinking. Hey, what about you? Verse 18. In the first month, hey, if you made an adjustment to the calendar, you won't be in the first month. Do you understand? If you try to bring the moon back so it can be in the spring, you will not be in the first month. You are denying the only one who can provide the rain, the dew, and the heat. If you make any adjustment, you have spit in his face. On the 14th day of the month, In the evening, if you're starting from the dark moon, you won't be on the 14th day in the month to start your feast. You're going to be on the 13th day in the month. If you're starting from the full moon, you're going to be in the next month to start your feast. Do you understand what I'm saying here? They have perverted Yah's time. You shall eat unleavened bread until the 21st day of the month in the evening. That's the 21st day. In the evening, it'll be over. Verse 19, 7 days shall there be no leaven found in your houses. Because we're going to clean out the leaven. But look at this statute now. For whosoever eateth that which is leaven, indeed, for surety, without a shadow of a doubt, that soul shall be cut off from the congregation of Yasharel. If you're not on the path of years, you're going to be cut off. If you made any adjustment, you're cut off. If you made an adjustment anyway, you've added to this book of the law. And he's going to take away your name from the book of life. Whether you be a stranger or born in the land. This is serious. You better have the right day. Hey, do you know how to find the days on your own? If you don't, you're not even concerned with your own salvation. The greatest commodity that you have is your soul, and you will lose it because you decided not to learn how the path of years works. Brother David, that's too complicated. If I were offering you money and some degree so you can get some high position in this world, you would learn it. Verse 20, you shall eat nothing leavened. He's doubling down on it. Because if you do, the soul shall be cut off from the congregation. In all of your habitations, that's your houses, shall you eat unleavened bread. 1 Corinthians chapter 5, verses 17 to 8. I was in the church for about 30 years. Went through all the schools. Yeah. Was at the highest level until I started to preach against their teachings and their doctrines. And I became anathema because I felt that the commandments were on the top. They didn't want to follow the commandments. Only one they wanted to follow was the tithe. But they always accuse Paul, Shaul, that he's teaching us to transgress the law. But he's not. Just the unlearned and the unstable, they don't understand what he's saying. The things that Shaul writes are hard for us to be understood. Then you have to overcome the translations of the Gentiles. Verse 7. Listen to the command and show this to your Christian brothers and sisters. Purge out, therefore, the old leaven. What does purge out mean? He's telling you to remove it. From where? From your house. Just like the law says, that you may be a new lump, as you are unleavened. And there's no leaven found in your house. For indeed, Christ, no. See, Christ is only found in the Greek manuscripts. In order for you to validate this Christ, he has to be in the Hebrew manuscripts. The new is in the old contained, the old is in the new explained. If you can't find Christ in the Old Testament, in Torah, you are to dismiss this name. They say Christ means anointed. That is empty. That is worthless. Does nothing for us that he's anointed. But this one does everything for us. This title. The Mashaya. Masha means high priest. And then it tells you who he's the high priest of. Yeah. They took that out and replaced it with Christ. Doesn't that tell you something? Let's read this again, deleting Christ. For indeed, the Mashaya, who was our Passover, he was sacrificed for us. Christ wasn't sacrificed for you, but the Mashaya was. Do you see us? Us is a pronoun. It describes a person, place, or thing. I want you to listen to me carefully so you can understand. Who is this us? He's speaking to our brothers and sisters that are in Corinth. They were scattered abroad. Shaul, he was the one who was sent to the northern kingdom to bring them back into the fold. He's not talking about the Europeans, the Africans, the Asians, nor the group, us. He's speaking of the children of Yesharal, 12 tribes. It's the only ones he's speaking to. How do you know this? Who else was under the law? Who else celebrated Passover in those days? Only the children of Yesharal. They were under covenant. Remember at Horeb? They took it verbally. They were sprinkled with blood. Pasah is perpetual from generation to generation to generation, forever. For who? For us. Verse 8. Listen to Shaul's command. Therefore, let us, the children of Yesharal, keep the feast. Not with that old leaven that you had in your house. You have to remove it. Neither with the leaven of malice and wickedness, transgressions of the law, but with the unleavened bread of sincerity and truth. Shaul said the law is good, it is just, it is holy. He never told you any place to transgress the law or not to keep the feast or the Shabbats of Yahuwah. So if you're a Christian and you believe in Paul, you have to keep the feast. If you don't, you have transgressed the law. Now, brothers and sisters, as you see, this feast is very dangerous. If you have the wrong day, you're going to find your bed in the lake of fire. The most dangerous people that we face, our people face today, are these Israelite brothers, our own family members. See, when you come from the church and you come to the way, the first people you will encounter is them, and you're going to follow them, and they're going to have you keeping the Shabbats on Pope Gregory's calendar. And they're going to give you a feast day that they have come from the imagination of their own mind. Isn't it terrible about their practices? Did they tell you that they were making an adjustment? Did they explain everything in great detail the way I do? You see, if you don't have anything to hide, you can put everything out on bring everything out to the light, can't you? But they won't do that. And if they did, they know that everyone would see who they are, so they just give you a date and tell you to follow it. And yet, they didn't explain anything to you. We are returning. We're coming back to Yahuwah. We need everything to be explained in great detail so we can understand how we are to carry out Yah's Shabbats and his feast days. But our brothers are not going to teach you these things. I'm going to give you a story so that you can understand who they are. The trees in the forest were being cut down. There were very few trees left. But yet, the trees themselves kept voting for the axe. Because the axe had convinced them that because my handle is made of wood, I am one of you. These brothers have convinced you because they have brown skin that they are one of us. What proves that they are one of us? They will return to the old way, which is the good way, so that we may find rest for our souls. All right. The renewed moon is going to show up on Sunday evening in the western sky after 5 p.m. Be out there to see it. And if you have a chance, take a picture and send it to me at dawoodbinyashayahu@outlook.com. Shalom.